Round 2 of the UAE National Race Day Series saw a return to its home circuit of the Dubai Autodrome and the promise of plenty of action out on track. Top of the bill this week was the Motor City UAE Sportbike Championship, with 22 riders lining up on the grid. They were supported by drivers in the FG 1000 Championship, now in its second year. And if race action wasn't enough, the UAE Radical Winter Cup cars were out on track for a testing session. But undoubtedly the main event of Race Day 2 was the Sportbike Championship. This year the focus of attention is firmly on the 600cc riders, with the 1000cc bikes running as a non-championship class. In the 600cc class, last year's champion Mahmoud Tanir was back on the Deseja Racing Triumph, albeit now without teammate Alan Boiter. Also back in the 600cc class was last year's rookie champion Surya Raja, who was undoubtedly hoping to repeat the success of last season. And returning to the fray were veterans Erikas Savikas, Joe Oxley and Omar Naji. But perhaps the surprise of the day was the return of Rob Nicholas. The Englishman was back on track after a 3-year break and eager to prove that he hadn't lost his racing mojo.
I'm 3 years away from the circuit. I've not even come down to visit, to be honest, because every time I come I get the itch. But it just got too much, and then I thought, okay, it's time to come back and have a bit of fun. And obviously I've switched to 600s now. Before I was on 1000, so really enjoying it. There's a great crowd out there. It's a good bunch of people that are out on the racetrack, so it's quite competitive, and it's been really good fun so far.
Hoping to learn from the 600cc veterans this season was another strong turnout in the rookie class. The rookies offered up some of the most exciting racing last season and are hoping to build on that success this year. And qualifying at the head of the rookie field was the young German rider Dominik von Polnitz on the Suzuki. But chasing him were the likes of Nasser Hussein Said, Giuseppe Marafa and Neil Hawke, who was back on track after an early mishap in practice.
I had quite a high-speed crash last week. Wrote the bike off completely, but I managed to get hold of a bike, managed to get hold of some bits, put it back together Thursday night, and I was here on Friday.
Back at the head of a growing 1000cc field was Saudi rider Abdulaziz bin Laden. He was joined once again by the Emirati Nasser Al-Shaiba and Austrian rider Gernot Dabida. And moving up from the 600cc class this year was Scotsman Alan Boiter.
It'll be the first time I've been mixing up with the 1000 boys, and we all seem to be pretty close. I've never managed to find a practice session close to them yet, so it should be quite fun.
And so on to the racing. Race favourite Mahmoud Tanir found himself back in the pit lane a lot earlier than expected, after dropping his Triumph in the bowl section of the Autodrome.
I think maybe the left side of the front tyre unfortunately wasn't really warmed up, and by the time I went into the bowl I was carrying a lot of speed, and I carried it maybe fraction of a second the brake into the corner, and then I lost the front end.
Tanir's early departure left the door open for last year's rookie champion Surya Raja, and the Indian rider needed no second invitation. After a phenomenal debut season, he was undoubtedly keen to continue his winning ways, a fact clearly demonstrated in his lap times. Despite some fierce competition early in the race from Joe Oxley and Rob Nicholas, the Yamaha rider stamped his authority on the race to finish in first place, 7 seconds ahead of his 600cc rivals.
It was a good qualifying, good practice, now good race result, winning it. I'm very happy, very content with my performance, and I just hope I keep improving.
Meanwhile, Irishman Joe Oxley was also hoping to put on a good show in the first race outing of the season. Having switched from a Kawasaki to Ducati last season, Oxley was still struggling to adjust to the new bike, finding himself almost 3 seconds off the pace during qualifying. However, race conditions must have given him the extra push he needed, and he went on to finish the race in second place, almost 5 seconds clear of the Englishman Rob Nicholas in third. Meanwhile, behind the leading 600cc riders in the field of rookies was led by a confident Dominik von Polnitz, who pulled off a debut win to finish first in class ahead of his nearest rival Nasser Hussein Said. Following him over the line with a solid ride was Neil Hawke, with Giuseppe Marafa also putting on a good opening race performance. Back at the head of a growing 1000cc field was Saudi rider Abdulaziz bin Laden, leaving the rest of the 1000cc field chasing his exhaust pipes. The Saudi rider has returned to the Middle East after racing in the British Superbike Championship, and the experience was clearly showing in his pace, with bin Laden dominating the race from the front and taking victory with a commanding time difference.
Coming back to my home circuit, I felt I felt the benefit of going abroad and improving my skill a bit. So it's good to be back home amongst my friends and colleagues.
Behind Bin Laden and the Emirati Nasser Al Shaiba was pushing hard on board the BMW. He was closely followed by Gernot de Bieder, and for most of the race, the final 2 podium positions looked like they would be taken by this pair. However, neither of them had counted on a last-minute charge from Alan Boyter. The Scotsman had been steadily gaining on both riders and pulled off a dramatic last lap to steal 2nd place ahead of Nasser Al Shaiba.
It was good. I got this terrible start. I ended up being 14th place into turn 1. Came round and so much work ahead of me, but managed to claw it back and sneak 2nd in the very last corner.
On to race 2 in the 600cc class, Surya Raja carried on where he left off in race 1. The Indian rider turned in a spectacular performance, going head-to-head with last year's 600cc champion Mahmood Tania. After crashing out of race 1, Tania had to start race 2 from the back of the grid, but quickly worked his way through the field and passed Surya Raja. But Raja wasn't giving up the fight and continued to pursue Tania over the closing stages of the race. And his determination paid off 3 laps from the end, with Tania's early race pace now leaving him with some serious grip problems and giving Raja the crucial advantage. And so it was the Yamaha rider who went on to take his 2nd win of the day ahead of Mahmood Tania in 2nd place.
I wanted to earn this, so yeah, we worked hard and we worked hard throughout the laps, and eventually we managed to pass Mahmood in 2 laps to go and made it stick, so very happy.
So a great day out for Surya Raja and also Rob Nicholas. The Englishman finished race 2 in 3rd place, giving him 2 podium finishes this weekend. A great effort considering he's not raced a bike in 3 years. And in the rookie class, it was Dominik von Polnitz who dominated the 2nd race. The German rider got off to a great start and continued to build on his lead in class, while chasing the more experienced riders ahead of him. And it was Polnitz who crossed the line in 1st place, giving him the best possible start to his fledgling racing career. He was followed across the line this time by Neil Hawke, who sealed 2nd place, and in 3rd was Nasir Hussain Syed.
Really good start, then of course the faster guys went a bit further, and then I was almost by myself. I felt very confident on the track. I felt very good, had a good pace, so I'm really happy with my race.
And last but not least, also out on track this weekend were the drivers in the 2nd FG1000 Championship, managed by Gulf Sport Racing's Barry Hope.
I think it's going to be very close. We've got new drivers. We've got 3 drivers from Malaysia and 4 drivers, some of them returning from last season. So we were testing yesterday and the times are very close.
Just 7 cars make up the grid, but what the championship lacks in numbers, it makes up for with some close racing. Race 1 saw pole sitter Nicholas Canal battling at the head of the pack with the lone female driver Natasha Sita. The Malaysian eventually took the lead and pulled out a 3-second gap over Canal. Behind this pair and Haytham Sultan Al Ali was challenging for 2nd place. But as the checkered flag came out on race 1, it was Sita first over the line, followed by Canal, just over a 2nd ahead of Sultan Al Ali. Race 2 saw a similar race unfold, with Sita taking the lead early on, while Nicholas Canal and Haytham Sultan Al Ali switched 2nd place between them. But at the checkered flag, it was Sita once again who took the win, with Canal securing 2nd place ahead of Emirati Sultan Al Ali in 3rd.
I wasn't expecting this, but it was a hard race, definitely one of the most tiring I've ever felt. It's good coming back, feel ready to take on the championship.
So that wraps up an exciting UAE National Race Day 2. Join us again in a few weeks' time for Race Day 3 at the Dubai Autodrome.